Scott McTominay reportedly says yes to Napoli deal. PSG ready to lower the asking price for Manuel Ugarte, plus updates on Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Hannibal Mejbri and Facundo Pellistri. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this evening's show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 40k subscribers. We're very, very close. Please make sure to get involved. It's completely free content and everyone is welcome. Right, let's start the show off by talking a little bit about some outgoings, because I think what can get this window to a 10 out of 10 is getting rid of some players. So I'm going to go through some players that look like they're in discussions to leave the club, and then we're going to kind of all discuss it. I'm going to bring you the news on each player, and then we can kind of, all discuss it as a community. So the player I want to start with first is Victor Lindelof. Apparently Victor Lindelof is surplus to requirements. I think we can all agree with that. 1 year left on his deal. He's on pretty big wages, about £120,000 a week. And as it stands at the moment, Manchester United are actively trying to move on Victor Lindelof. Obviously, we've just signed 2 new centre-backs in Lenny Yoro and Matthias de Ligt. In relation to his next club, there are strong murmurs saying that apparently Fenerbahce are still trying to sign him. There are lots of teams in the Italian league who are trying to sign him, and apparently there are also some of the Saudi clubs circling for Victor Lindelof's signature. Transfer fee-wise, apparently Manchester United are asking for somewhere around £10 million for Victor Lindelof, which I actually think would be quite a good deal, to be honest. 1 year left on his deal. If we don't sell him now, he's going to leave for free in 12 months anyway. So if we could get 10 million for Victor Lindelof and clear his wages off the wage bill, I would be happy with it. He's on about £6 million a season. So if we got 10 million in transfer fees plus 6 million saved in wages, that's a hell of a lot of money. You know, that's £16 million there, which otherwise we're going to pay or lose to somebody who's probably going to be 5th or 6th choice centre-back. And I'd even go as far as saying that for me personally, I would probably say that Harry Maguire is definitely above Victor Lindelof. And I would also say that Johnny Evans is ahead of Lindelof, to be honest. And I think based on what Johnny Evans did for Manchester United last season, I assume that most people watching this video would probably agree with that, you know? But as it stands at the moment, the reports are suggesting that apparently Victor Lindelof wants to go to Italy. That's his chosen destination. So yeah, it's all just about Manchester United now trying to get this deal over the line, get Victor Lindelof out of the club. And maybe that means we go and sign another centre-back. You know, maybe that means we look at Trevor Chalobah. Maybe that means we try and go back in for Jared Branthwaite. We'll have to wait and see. But the fact of the matter is, Manchester United need to move on Victor Lindelof before they can go and approach anybody else to become a new centre-back. So obviously, as soon as we get more news on Victor Lindelof, I will bring you that right away. But as it stands, at the moment, Manchester United are actively negotiating with various different clubs over a permanent exit for Victor Lindelof. So that's the first one. The second player I've got some big news on for you this evening is Facundo Pellistri. Now, apparently Pellistri isn't going to be given a new contract at Manchester United. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He is 22 years of age. I think he's very talented, but I just simply don't think he's going to get the opportunities that he probably deserves. Obviously, he's got Ahmad ahead of him now. Antony's ahead of him. Rashford is. Garnacho is. Obviously, Sancho is if he stays at Manchester United. So Pellistri at Manchester United, his hopes and opportunities don't really look very good, do they? And in relation to clubs that are interested in him, at the moment, the reports coming out of Italy are that Manchester United are in talks with Bologna over a permanent deal for Facundo Pellistri. They're apparently asking for around £10 million for him to be sold this summer. As I said, 1 year left on his deal. No real sign of a new contract being signed at the moment. I personally think moving on Pellistri is the best thing for everybody. Like, I've seen so many young players come to Manchester United and have their careers, I don't want to say ruined because that's a little bit harsh, but he's come to Manchester United at the age of, 17, 18, and he just sat on the bench and was loaned out. And I just don't see it. I just don't see him getting the breakthrough that maybe he deserves. But you let me know what you think. I know for Pellistri seems to be a pretty big fan favourite on this channel, and I know a lot of people really like him, and a lot of people felt that last season Facundo Pellistri really should have got some game time, and he simply didn't. I do feel bad for him, but I think at this stage we probably do have to cut our losses, and moving Facundo Pellistri on now would probably make the most sense. But obviously, you can let me know your thoughts on that one below. Right, let's move on from that, because what did I have for you that was... let me just mute my... Okay, 1 second. Let me just mute my phone. It's pinging off. I wanted to bring you a bit of team news about the game tomorrow, because there is some real positive news. Apparently, Ligt and Mazraoui will both play in the game tomorrow. That was what Erik ten Hag said on his press conference about an hour ago. Harry Maguire is available as well. And I know some people are like, Harry Maguire should be sold, get rid of him. At the moment, Harry Maguire is a Manchester United player, and having Harry Maguire on the bench makes us stronger. I understand that Harry Maguire doesn't have a future at Manchester United, but for this season anyway, he is a Manchester United player. And I hope and pray that he can contribute to the team, because I think Harry Maguire on his day is a half-decent defender. Is he good enough for Manchester United? Probably not. But I would much rather have a fit Harry Maguire in the squad than not, you know? And I think he does offer us something, Maguire, that maybe Lindelof doesn't. He has that physicality. He has that aerial presence. He has that ability to command his box, which I think a lot of our players, apart from Martinez, obviously I haven't seen De Ligt yet for Manchester United, so I can't really comment. But I think out of all of our defenders, Harry Maguire's ability, aerially and physically is one of the best, isn't he? So I'm happy that Harry Maguire's back fit again. And, it's good to know that we have him on the bench. I just hope and pray that Erik ten Hag doesn't pick Harry Maguire tomorrow. Like, it has to be Martinez and De Ligt for me. I know that they've only trained since Monday, but, these are professional athletes. They're all fit. They've all had their pre-seasons. De Ligt's been training for 4 days now. He trained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. For me, 4 days of training is enough. Like, De Ligt should be starting the game against Fulham tomorrow. I'm going to run through my desired team for tomorrow now really quickly. And I want you guys to get involved. I want to make it interactive. I want you to let me know in the comment section, what is your preferred starting 11 for the game tomorrow? So mine's going to be this. I'm going with Onana in goal. At left back, I'm going with Diogo Dalot. Centre backs, I'm going with Martinez and Harry Maguire. Right back, we're going with Mazraoui. Midfield 3, and this is going to shock some of you. A midfield 3, I'm going with Mason Mount, Kobe Mainoo and Bruno. And then attacking, I'm going with Garnacho on the left. I'm going with Xerxes down the middle. And I'm going with Ahmad on the right. I honestly think that tomorrow, right, 8 o'clock kickoff, first game of the Premier League season, under the lights at Old Trafford, we need to bring the game to Fulham. We need to go out there and make a statement performance. We need to go and batter them. I'm talking 3 or 4-0. That has to happen tomorrow. We've got the defence in now. We've got lots of players back available fit. I want Erik ten Hag to go out with an attacking lineup. And that's why I've gone with Mason Mount, Bruno and Kobe in the midfield. And I think, obviously Fulham haven't replaced Paulinho yet. So they are massively missing in the midfield. And I think that, if Paulinho was there, I would probably set up differently. But obviously with Paulinho not being in the Fulham team anymore, I think we can genuinely go out and get that done. Somebody's saying, what's going on with Adam Wharton? I've not heard anything about Adam Wharton, so I don't know where you've got that from, mate. Let me have a little look. I've seen nothing about Adam Wharton to Manchester United. Are people who's saying that Adam Wharton's coming to Manchester United? There is literally no news linking Adam Wharton to Manchester United. I mean, where did you get this story from? Was it from another channel? Was it from someone on Twitter? So what's happened here is, it's classic, right? So the story that people have obviously been playing off is Andy Mitten, who is a very reliable journalist, or he's a journalist, I guess, is reporting that Adam Wharton was offered to Manchester United before he signed for Crystal Palace, and Manchester United declined the offer to sign him. So I assume that people have seen some headline somewhere saying that Adam Wharton to Manchester United, when really what the story is that Adam Wharton was offered to Manchester United years ago before he joined Crystal Palace, but Manchester United said no, and he ended up joining Crystal Palace. So there's no story. It's just, a play on words. There isn't an offer for Adam Wharton. It's a trick, effectively. But yeah, let's move on from that and let's jump on over to Scott McTominay, shall we? Because it looks like Scott McTominay to Napoli has taken one step closer, and I could not be more happy about this. I'll be honest with you. Anybody who watches this show regularly knows that I'm not the biggest fan of Scott McTominay. I think he works hard. I think he has he has that love for Manchester United, but is that enough? I don't think it is. He's at the age of 27, and can anybody honestly say that Scott McTominay has improved over the last 6 years since he's been in the first team? Yes, he contributes goals. Yes, he can come off the bench and cause a nuisance, but starting games for Manchester United, I'm not sure that Scott McTominay is the one, to be honest. And when you think that we can get 25 to 30 million for him, which is straight profit and goes straight into our financial fair play PSR kitty, you have to do that deal. But yeah, let's read out the news on Scott McTominay then. So this is coming out from multiple different journalists in Italy, saying that apparently McTominay has said yes to Napoli. Manchester United are now in advanced negotiations with Napoli over a permanent deal for Scott McTominay. He has apparently given Napoli his priority, and it goes on to say that Napoli want to add a midfielder like McTominay to their squad. They are going to submit a proposal that will convince Manchester United. Obviously, Antonio Conte is the Napoli manager. There was always rumours before that Antonio Conte was a big admirer of Napoli from his time when he was at Chelsea. Obviously, there were some talks years and years ago that Antonio Conte wanted to bring McTominay to Chelsea. Now that he's obviously the Napoli manager, it looks like he's going to go all out for him. It's looking quite likely as well that Victor Osimhen is going to end up at Chelsea. That means that Napoli will have vast amounts of money to spend. This is one that I think is going to kind of trickle on over the next couple of weeks. McTominay wants to go there, but it all depends on whether Manchester United get the fee they want. And they're not going to sell him for less than 25 to 30 million pounds. That's the absolute minimum. And I would agree with that. I think McTominay needs to be sold, but you have to get a good amount of money for him, because selling him for, under 20 million when people like Conor Gallagher were having offers accepted for 35, it has to happen. So yeah, just a quick one. We've got over 1,500 people watching the video live now. We've only got 300 likes. So if everybody who's watching live could do me a small favor and smash a like on today's video, that'd be really, really appreciated. Let's go for the 1,500 likes. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 40k subscribers. As soon as we hit 40k subscribers, I'm going to be giving out 2 of the new Manchester United shirts. So make sure you go and subscribe, get involved, and when we hit 40k, I will be doing a giveaway. I've just dropped a link in the chat to do that, so make sure you go and get involved. David says, you said Harry Maguire for the Fulham game. Yeah, Harry Maguire will be available for the Fulham game. I wouldn't start him, but he is available. That's what Erik ten Hag said a couple of minutes ago. But circling back to Scott McTominay, the biggest thing for me with McTominay is obviously I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United, to be honest. I like him. I like his personality. I like his character. But I think when there's a player there that you can get 25 to 30 million for, straight profit, with 1 year left on his deal, there isn't really a conversation to be had, to be honest, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, obviously you can let me know in the comments. You can disagree with me. But when you could potentially profit that much amount of money, and it's 100% profit, like, we have to do it. Manchester United don't sell players for big amounts of money. This would probably be like our 5th or 6th highest ever transfer fee, which is absolutely mental to think. But that just shows how badly we've been run over the last decade, that, a 25, 30 million pound deal would be like in the top 5 transfers in our history, But Gary says, would you rather sell Eriksen or McTominay? It's not really comparable though, mate, to be honest, because obviously Eriksen, no one wants to buy Eriksen at the moment, it seems. Eriksen, you'd probably only get like 5 million for, which isn't really going to get you very far. Like, if you sell Eriksen for 5 million, who do you replace him with? The only real option would be Adrian Rabiot for free. That would be the only option, because you can't sell Eriksen for 5 million and then go and buy Manuel Ugarte for 50 million pounds as his replacement. Like, that just doesn't make mathematical sense, does it? Whereas if you sold McTominay for 25, 30, which would be 100% profit, you could go and sign Manuel Ugarte, pay the transfer fee over like a 4-year period, which would mean you're only paying, say, 12.5 million a year for 5 years, or 4 years even. So do you see where I'm going with this? Would I rather sell Eriksen? Yes, but there isn't enough money in the Eriksen deal to make it worthwhile, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong, I personally, if I was Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada, I'd be trying to sell Eriksen and McTominay. I think both of them should leave the club. Eriksen's on 150 grand a week with 1 year left on his deal, and McTominay probably presents the best opportunity for Manchester United to actually make some serious money this summer. So for that reason alone, I would be moving on both of them. I'd be going for Manuel Ugarte, and I'd be going for Sander Berg. Keeping on the topics of midfielders, I want to move over to Youssef Fofana because I have got some bad news for you this evening. I try and bring you good news. I try and be positive, but obviously, you know, I can't shy away from stories. So the big story that came out, it was about an hour or two ago, is, where's that gone? Has he deleted it? No, that can't be. I'm sure I saw Fofana to AC Milan. Here we go earlier. Oh yeah, there we go. I thought I was going crazy there. You know where like you think you've seen something and then you go back to find it and it's not there and you're scratching your head like, what the hell's happened? But yeah, so the big story that broke a couple of hours ago is that this is coming from Fabrizio Romano. He is reporting that Youssef Fofana to AC Milan is a here we go. Green light just arrived from Monaco on payment terms. AC Milan are paying 25 million euros for Youssef Fofana. So he's not coming to Manchester United. The story says that there have been no doubts since July. Youssef Fofana only wanted AC Milan, travel and medical in the next 24 hours. So effectively, Youssef Fofana to Manchester United is not happening. That's 100% confirmed. He's going to AC Milan. Yeah, fair play to them. He's a good player. I like Youssef Fofana. I thought he would have been a good signing. So that now limits us to Manuel Ugarte, Sander Berg, Amrabat and Rabiot. Those are the kind of four options that we have. It still looks like Manchester United are going all out for Manuel Ugarte. But if we were to move on both Christian Eriksen and Scott McTominay, we would need to sign two more midfielders. So it'll be interesting to see how, you know, the next couple of weeks of the window go. But we are now starting to miss out on what we were told is targets. I honestly think that this Youssef Fofana to Manchester United story was kind of blown out of proportion. I think that it was his agent trying to speed along the deal for him to go to AC Milan, because if Manchester United really wanted Youssef Fofana, they would have entered the race, they would have tried to sign him, and that just hasn't happened, has it? 25 million euros is nothing in the grand scheme of things, let's be honest. Like, it really, really isn't. It's about 20 million pounds, isn't it? And in modern day football, 25 million euros for a French international who is only 25 in Youssef Fofana, to me, that's a bargain. And I genuinely think that if Manchester United wanted him, they would have actually put in a bid. So, yeah. That's the latest on Youssef Fofana. He will not be coming to Manchester United. So let's move on from that, though. I can see loads of people in the chats talking about Ferdi Kadioglu. Unfortunately, it's more bad news. I'm sorry, I can't bring you good news all the time, because it looks like Ferdi Kadioglu to blah, 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 blah. My brain's gone. Ferdi Kadioglu to Fenerbahce. No, he's at Fenerbahce. Ferdi Kadioglu from Fenerbahce to Brighton looks like it is going to go ahead. So Fabrizio Romano said that the next top target on Brighton's list is Ferdi Kadioglu. Apparently they submitted a bid, I think it was last week, for £30 million. I think that bid was accepted. Sorry, it was £40 million. Apparently he's already agreed personal terms. Now, is there a world where Manchester United try and hijack this deal? I would be quite open to it, but I think at the moment we don't really have the money to be paying 30, 40 million pounds for a left back, I don't think. For me personally, we need two midfielders. I think we need another centre back, because we're one centre back away from our next best options being Maguire. Lenny Orr is injured until October. If De Ligt or Martinez get injured, then it's going to be Johnny Evans or Maguire as our centre-backs. So I still think that a centre-back is more of a priority than a left-back personally, because if you look at the left-back, right, you've got Malacia, who's back in, I think, a month. You've got Luke Shaw, who's back in a month. And then who you've got available at the moment, you've got Harry Amas, Dalot, Mazraoui, Martinez can play at left-back. And there's a couple of others as well that can play at left back if push comes to shove. So as much as I want a new left back, I don't think it is 100% the priority at the moment. Whilst you've still got Luke Shaw on the wage bill, whilst he's still earning 150 grand a week, can we really justify going out and spending 40 million pounds on a new left back when you're still paying Luke Shaw 150k a week? You're paying Malacia over 100k a week. Like, I just don't think Manchester United can do that in the position we're in. And I think when our midfield looks as weak as it does, especially in the number 6 defensive area, the money has to be spent there. And I've said this many, many times on the show before, and I know some people disagree with me, but I I really, really do think that we still need to strengthen in the striker position because Rasmus Højlund is injured. He keeps getting a hamstring injury. He was out for like, what was it, a month, 2 months last season with a hamstring injury. He's now come back. He's got this hamstring injury again. And as much as I love Rasmus, he's not a prolific goal scorer yet. That's just a fact, isn't it? What did he get in the Premier League? Like 10 goals last year? I'm sure it will come. And I'm sure that in the next 2-3 years, Rasmus will be a 20-goal striker. But at the moment, Rasmus isn't a 20-goal striker. And Joshua Zirkzee is 23. And he's never been a 20-goal striker, ever. He hasn't. Go back and look over Zirkzee's career, right? People think that we've just signed this, like, goal-scoring machine. Zirkzee isn't a goal-scoring machine. He never has been in any season that he's played in professional football. For me personally, Zirkzee is more of a skillful hold-up play. He's quick. He is good at shooting as well, but he's not greedy. He would be just as happy to pass the ball to someone else and help them score as he would to get a goal himself. So as much as I like Zirkzee, as much as I think he will contribute a lot to Manchester United next season, if you actually look at his goal-scoring attributes, last year in Serie A, he got 11 goals in 34 games. So he averaged a goal every 3 games, which to me isn't prolific, I don't think. Would you say that 11 goals in 33 games is prolific? The season before that, he scored 2 goals in 19 games in the Serie A. Although arguably a lot of that was off the bench. So, you can't really criticise that. And then you go back to 2022, which was when I believe he was at Bayern. That was when he was in the Belgian league. He was on loan. He got 15 goals in 32 games in the Belgian league. So even if you go back to then, he was only averaging a goal every other game, and that was in the Belgian league. I think Zirkzee is going to be a massive hit at Manchester United. I think he's going to be a quality player. But the point I'm making here is, I really, really do think we need to look at a more, we need to look at another attacking player because Rashford can't play as a striker for me. He isn't good in that position. Yes, you could do Bruno as a false 9. Yes, you could do Ahmad as a false 9. But if Manchester United want to have, ambitions of winning titles, getting back into the Champions League, winning the Europa League, I still think we need a goal-scoring machine, and I don't think we have that at the moment. Højlund could become a goal-scoring machine, but at the moment, he is not that. So it'll be interesting to see how it progresses. Obviously, if Sancho leaves, Manchester United probably will look at another attacking player. But at the moment, it's all up in the air with Sancho. So obviously, I'll keep you updated as and when we get more news. Cuckoo says we should just keep McTominay as a striker. I'm going to be honest with you, mate. You might have been joking, but I think McTominay's best position is a striker. He's absolutely hopeless in the midfield. He offers nothing. McTominay as a striker, I actually think he's decent. I do. If Manchester United came out and said that McTominay is going to be our third choice striker for this season, I honestly would not be upset about that. Genuinely. I'm not even joking. Being deadly serious here. I don't want to see McTominay play in Manchester United's midfield ever again. I just don't think it works. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he has the brain to be a midfielder. For me, he's dangerous in and around the box. He's physical, he's tall, he's strong, he's good at heading, he's got a good shot on him. He has all of the attributes as a striker. And the thing that a lot of people seem to forget is, right, McTominay, for most of his youth career, this is a fact, you can go and Google it, I'm not just making this up. For most of McTominay's youth career, until Jose Mourinho came to Manchester United, McTominay played as a striker, as an attacking player. McTominay then, for some reason, got moved to midfield by Jose Mourinho. So I don't really know why that happened, obviously. Just to be very, very clear, I still want McTominay to be sold, 100%. But I personally think that McTominay in the midfield is just completely wasted. He offers us nothing, I think. He can't tackle. He gives away the ball. When he tries to tackle, he fouls. He's constantly running around, but he doesn't look like he's actually doing anything, Whereas if you put McTominay further up the pitch, people are saying, how can you say he's a good striker? Define what good means. I mean, good to me is he gets the ball in the back of the net. Good to me is that he's good at heading, which he is. Good to me is that he's physical and strong, which he is. Those are all the things. Let's spin this on its head, right? Because there's people in the chat who think that I'm, I don't know, probably on drugs or something, right? So people in the chat are saying that McTominay's not a good striker. Some people, quite a lot of people are disagreeing with me, which is fine. And I like to have these conversations. I like to have these debates. So I assume you guys like Rasmus Højlund, right? Everybody watching today likes Rasmus Højlund and thinks that Rasmus Højlund is a striker. So Rasmus Højlund last season in the Premier League, in 2,170 minutes, scored 10 goals, right? In the Premier League. Rasmus Højlund averaged a goal every 200 minutes in the Premier League. McTominay, last season in the Premier League, got 8 goals. He got 2 goals less than Højlund. McTominay averaged a goal every 150 minutes in the Premier League last season. So all the people saying, I love Rasmus, he's great, this, that, and the other. Scott McTominay scored more goals on average per minute than Højlund did last season. I know I'm not by any means saying that McTominay's better than Højlund. I'm just saying that for me personally, when I watch McTominay, he offers us way more when he's further up the pitch. That's all I'm saying here. And I think that he's wasted in as a CDM or as a number 6 because he just doesn't play that position. We've got over 1,700 people watching live now. We've only got 500 likes, though. If everyone could do me a small favour and smash a like, that'd be really, really appreciated. We've set a likes target of 1,500 for today's video. And we are now just about to hit 37,600 subs. So if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. Let's try and get to 37,600 by the end of the video. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Carl says McTominay was our leading goal scorer last season. Yeah. McTominay got 10 goals in all competitions last season. I think he was the second most after Højlund was first. Let's see what else. Andrew says, what's going on with Chido Obi Martin? Chido Obi Martin... The issue with Chido Obi Martin is that Manchester United have to agree a compensation package with Arsenal. So because we got him for free, Manchester United have to pay... I'm not sure exactly how much it is that we have to pay, but we have to pay something to Arsenal. It has to go through the court of law, the court of sport, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's what's holding up that deal, which is annoying, but there's nothing we can do about that. That's the way that the rules work. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens there. He's done his medical, he's signed his contract, so he definitely will become a Manchester United player. It might just take a little while for it to be announced. So Chido Obi Martin will be coming to Manchester United, but it's not going to be like an immediate announce tomorrow type thing by the looks of it, because it has to be all agreed. I think it's something to do with his age as well. Thanks to Robbie, who's just done a super chat for $1.99. Thank you very much for your support, my friend. I really, really do appreciate that. I hope you are doing well. So yeah, Chido Obi Martin will be joining Manchester United. Robbie says, who's the source that Napoli are interested in McTominay? Let me read you out all of the sources really quickly, because there's loads and loads of people. Let me get them all up for you. Thank you for asking the question, though. It's good that somebody's asking the question, you know? So we have got the Times, New York Times, are reporting that Manchester United are in talks with Napoli over Scott McTominay deal. We've got BBC reporting that the same story. Then you've got ESPN saying that Napoli approached Manchester United over McTominay deal. You've then got smaller places like Manchester Evening News, Yahoo, the Metro. You've got The Sun. Obviously, we're going down the list a little bit here. The better, more reliable ones were the first ones I read out, right? So those are the kind of outlets that are reporting this story. And then if we're talking about... You've got like people like TalkSport as well who are obviously talking about it, but I wouldn't particularly say that they're, reliable. And then if we're talking about what journalists are talking about McTominay, we can go through that as well together really, really quickly. I have no problem with... So in Italy, the main person coming out with the story is Alfredo Padula. He was really, really good around Manchester United last summer. Really good around the Amrabat deal. He's got over 400,000 followers on Twitter. Very good around Serie A. And he was the one who said that apparently McTominay has said yes to Napoli. So that was good. I'm not sure whether we've got anything from Fabrizio yet. We've got the Times as well, who've said it as well. We've got Paul Hurst from the Times, who's been a journalist for about 20 odd years. Very, very reliable journalist, exclusively reports for Manchester United. So the McTominay story is being very, very widely reported now. So yeah, I think this one probably will happen. But I have no problem bringing you guys all the news on the sources and stuff. So if in the future there's any sources that you want to know a little bit more information about, let me know, and I'm more than happy to kind of read it all through like that, so you can see. You effectively then what you guys can do, right, is you can make your own judgment up. You know, I've told you who is reporting these stories. So you've got the New York Times, you've got Paul Hurst, you've got Manchester Evening News, like the BBC, TalkSport. All of these people are reporting this story, and then it's kind of up to you to decide whether you know how reliable you think that these people are. You know, because I can only bring you the news and give you my opinion. Obviously, you guys have got to make up your own as well. Let's see what else we've got here. Right, let's move on to Manuel Ugarte then, shall we? Because I can see a lot of people in the chat asking me about Manuel Ugarte. So let's definitely move on to that. No problem at all. So the latest on Manuel Ugarte, there are some smaller journalists saying that, you know, the deal is close. Fabrizio Romano just retweeted one of his previous tweets saying that Manuel Ugarte is insisting to join Manchester United. So that's obviously positive. Some people are saying that he's one step away from joining Manchester United. From joining Manchester United. So, in relation to the fee being lowered, the general consensus is that the longer the window goes on, the more the fee will go down. PSG need to sell some players this summer. They need to get Manuel Ugarte off their books. He barely played for PSG last year, right? Barely, and they've now just signed João Neves. Okay, they have to move on somebody. They need to raise funds. And Manuel Ugarte is the easiest way for PSG to raise the money they need. I would be very, very surprised if we don't get Manuel Ugarte now. He's clearly the number one target. As I said, Youssef Fofana is joining Monaco. That was a here we go from Fabrizio a couple of hours ago. So Youssef Fofana isn't coming. Rabiot, I think if we wanted Rabiot, we would have signed him by now. He's a free agent. He doesn't cost any money. Why would they wait all window? Our season starts tomorrow. If Manchester United had Rabiot at the top of their list, they would have signed him by now, without a shadow of a doubt. So Rabiot's right down at the bottom, I think, as like an emergency option. Amrabat, I think, is the same. If Manchester United wanted Amrabat, he's available for such a small amount of money that they would have just gone and signed him now, which makes me think, and you know, gives us all of the evidence that Manchester United are going all out for Manuel Ugarte. That's the player they want. That's the player that Eric Ten Hag, Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada have identified. And I think that's the player that we will get. I think it's going to be a domino effect. This is my prediction, right? And let's see whether I'm right. This is just my prediction. So Victor Osimhen is going to go to Chelsea, I reckon. That's my prediction. Chelsea are in talks with Napoli. Chelsea want a new striker. Chelsea spend £500 million every window. Chelsea will get... Chelsea will get Osimhen. Napoli will then have £100 million sat in their bank account and will want to go and spend loads of money. They will then sign McTominay for 25-30 million, which will then allow Manchester United to sign Manuel Ugarte. That's what I think is going to happen. Whether that does or not, we'll have to wait and see. But that would be my prediction if you wanted that. If you don't, obviously that's fine. But yeah. Elite Baller says, I preferred the old wallpaper. I'm upset now. Yeah, I didn't have a microphone or a camera or anything with me. So apologies that the videos yesterday and this morning were a little bit budget. But obviously I wanted to still, you know, do the videos for you guys. But yeah, I was away and I didn't have my setup with me. But yeah, obviously as soon as I get more news on Manuel Ugarte, I will go live. So yeah, as soon as we get any more confirmation, I will obviously go live. But at the moment, that's the situation with Manuel Ugarte. I personally don't think we'll get any news before the game tomorrow. I might be wrong, but yeah, I'd be very, very surprised if we get... Oh, excuse me. I'd be very surprised if we get a here we go before tomorrow. But you never know in football. You never know. Maybe we get the here we go tonight, you know? That is a possibility. We know that Manuel Ugarte's agency, Gestafoot, were in England today, negotiating apparently. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Ellen says, I love that you posted the wrong video. Yeah, that was so embarrassing. I was literally in the car. We were about to go out for dinner, me and my partner, right? And I was like, I was like, I've got to go back in. And she was like, why? And I was like, I've just posted a video from like 3 months ago. And I was in the car like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. So for anybody who didn't see yesterday, I'm going to own up to it. Obviously, I was away, so I pre-recorded the video. I put the video up. I went to check the video when it went live, and it was literally a video from 3 months ago. And everyone in the chat was like, why are you talking about the Copa America? Like, that's finished, hasn't it? And I had to run back to the hotel, delete the video, and re-upload the correct one. So I do apologise for that, but I hope you appreciate the commitment. I did try. Yeah, I messed up. Morgan says, I will click the like button when we get a Here We Go for Ugarte. Ben says, are you at the match tomorrow? Mate, I literally was about to buy tickets yesterday, but I was away in Wales. I've literally just got back from Wales about 10 minutes before I went live. So, yeah, I'm not going to be going to the game tomorrow. I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted that I'm not going to the game tomorrow. I think the mood tomorrow at Old Trafford is going to be probably the best of the whole season, genuinely. 8 o'clock, under the floodlights, you're going to get Ligt, Mazraoui, Xerxes and Lenny Yoro being presented to the Old Trafford crowd. The more I say these words to you, the more that makes me just want to go and book it and go. I'll have a think about it. I might do. Somebody saying, what's going on with Sancho? Sancho to PSG is one definitely to keep an eye on, but at the moment, there's so many things that can happen in the last weeks of the window, you know? I think even some of the top journalists don't know, you know, what's going to happen in the final weeks of the window, to be honest. So yeah, just to be clear, Fabrizio's just reposted a couple of seconds ago the following tweet. So what usually happens with Fabrizio is, I mean, some people at the moment say, some people at the moment are kind of saying that Fabrizio's just repeating the same news over and over, but I still think Fabrizio's, you know, one of the most reliable journalists. And yeah, Fabrizio literally just reposted a story a couple of minutes ago saying the following. He's saying that Manuel Ugarte is insisting to join Manchester United. Manchester United and PSG are still negotiating. He says that Jorge Mendes is leading negotiations with PSG open to selling Ugarte and United still keen. He says that United need a reduced fee or one more sale or will go for a cheaper alternative like Sanderberg. So the negotiation is going on, you know? So, yes. I would be honestly shocked if we don't get Manuel Ugarte now. I'd be really, really shocked. What have we got here? Somebody is saying, is Kobbie Mainoo our best player? What's your thoughts? I don't think Kobbie Mainoo is our best player, to be honest. I like Kobbie Mainoo, but I personally think that our best player is Lisandro Martinez. I think he's absolutely class. I think Martinez would get into most teams in the Premier League, genuinely. I think he'd get in the Man City team. I think he'd get in the Liverpool team. I think he'd get in the Chelsea team, like the Tottenham team, the Arsenal team. Like Lisandro Martinez is absolutely world class, I think. In 2 or 3 years, Kobbie Mainoo will be probably one of the best midfielders in the world. But Martinez is my favourite. I'm obviously everybody has their favourites. I love Martinez. I absolutely love him. I just love everything about him. I love how aggressive he is. I love how he just doesn't care. I love his passion. And I'm not saying that Mainoo doesn't have any of those things. I'm just saying why I resonate so much towards Martinez. I just think he's unbelievable. I love him. And to think how much criticism Martinez got before he joined Manchester United. You had Jamie Carragher saying that a 5'2" defender can never play in the Premier League. He can't head the ball. After that, he's just gone and won the World Cup, the Copa America, and, you know, was probably Manchester United's best player in his first season. Like, he's an unbelievable player. Other people in the chat are saying that Bruno is the best player. Yeah, I mean, Bruno's world class, I think, and I would say that Martinez is world class. I like both of them. I just like Martinez's attitude. And it's different to Bruno because Bruno whinges a lot, which I think does upset some of the fan base and rival fans. Whereas Martinez is starting on people like 6'5" when he's 5'10", you know? Like, he is aggressive. Like, he doesn't mess about. Whereas Bruno can be a little bit petulant at times, which I think puts me off at points, you know? I still love Bruno. I think he's quality. I absolutely love Bruno, but I just love everything about Martinez. I do. Yeah, so I like Martinez. There you go. Right, I think I'm going to end the video here, guys, because otherwise I'm just going to speak about Martinez for the next 10 minutes. Thank you very much to everyone who watched the show today. Before you leave, if you could do me a small favour and hit the like button, that would be really, really appreciated. It really helps to show YouTube that people enjoy these videos. So if you're able to do that, it literally is one click. It will take you probably half a second to do, and I'd really, really appreciate it. So please go and do that. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel as well. I will be back at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Normal business resumes as normal now. Obviously, I was away for 24 hours, so I apologise for the weird videos with the dodgy camera and the bad microphone, but it's all just part of the fun, isn't it? So thank you very much. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Ooh.